What's good, everybody? I want to sit here and talk about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They had a pretty good game against Navy. I know a lot of people saying, hey, they played Navy, they ain't really played nobody, but I think Navy is a pretty decent opponent to have for the first game of the season. Also, Navy is not a horrible team. I mean, they've been to bowl games, like 11 bowl games in the past 13 years, so they're not the worst team in the world. Obviously, they got a new coach now, so it might be a down year this year. But other than that, man, Navy's a pretty good, decent team. I like everything when I saw the Notre Dame. I mean, the field was pretty wet out there, and for the field to be wet, they ain't had no turnovers. They could have had a turnover, but the ball went out of bounds. So, but still, no turnovers, no interceptions, obviously. And Sam Hartman, he threw four touchdowns, and he was like 19 or 23 for 251 yards. So those are some decent stats to have for your first game. Being that you basically new to the team, and to have numbers like that and no turnovers on a wet field, that was pretty good. It's at a neutral site, but I mean, you couldn't tell really. I mean, it was a good game. I enjoyed watching it just to see Notre Dame playing some good football. Also, I mean, they only had one penalty for 10 yards, which is good for the first game, because usually, it takes a while to get your yard, to not have penalties the first game. I mean, you don't have no preseason in college football, so they only had one penalty for the first game in a neutral site. That was pretty decent, man. That just goes to show, if they play this type of football, I think they can really run the table. I ain't saying they win that championship, but they may surprise some teams this year. And so I like the way they ran the ball for 191 yards, which is also good. And that's what I think is going to be key for Notre Dame this year. If they run the football, I ain't saying they got to run for 191 yards all the time, but if they can keep it at 150, especially when they play those real good teams like USC, Ohio State, and Clemson, if they can run and play like that, they should, out of those three teams, they should at least, if they play their best game, 2 out of 3. The hardest team probably would be Ohio State in a way, but Ohio State got a new quarterback, so I don't know. We have to see. Plus, we have to see if USC defense is going to get better as the season go on. We don't know yet. It's just, it's the first week. We can't tell yet. But right now, I think they got a chance to really do some good things this year. I think, they only got, like I just mentioned, they only got 3 teams that's really in their way. And that's Ohio State, USC, and Clemson. And, Clemson, they play Clemson at Clemson, if I'm not mistaken. I know they don't play them at home, but more than likely, I think they play them at Clemson. And the good thing is they play USC and Ohio State at home. So that should help them out. And, they should, do pretty good. Now, when they play Ohio State, I think that, they're going to have to, just put pressure on the quarterback. I wouldn't be worried about trying to stop them receivers. If they can put pressure on that new quarterback, then I think they got a chance. You know what I'm saying? Also, they're going to have to run the ball against all the 3 of those teams. Now, those teams, they're really going to have to run the football against them 3 if they want to come out with a victory. And even with USC, now, USC, now you got experience with quarterback, and their offense is pretty good. So I can't see them slowing down. USC. The best thing is they just going to try to outscore them if they can. Like I say, we don't know how good USC defense is going to be by the time they play them. Hopefully they can outscore them and just get some turnovers here and there and play their best game like they did against Navy. And that's what it's going to have to take for them to have a good season. But they're going to have to not turn that ball over and not have penalties and run the football, man. I don't care what anybody say, man. You got to run the football. I know everybody like to pass the ball, but you still got to run the ball, man. I'm sorry. It ain't no way around it. If you really want to win, you're going to have to run that football. And you're going to have to stop the run. So, really, right now, we don't even know how good Notre Dame defense is, really. They had all summer to get ready for Navy. And it's a little easy to get, ready for the triple option if you have, a whole month to get ready for it. Only time it gives you problems if you got, a week or 2 weeks to try to get ready for it. That's the only time you have really problems with that. If you have a full month to get ready for it, you usually do pretty good, and that's what happened. And like I said earlier, Navy got a new coach. Everything's new. It's just like it's just gonna be one of them years for Navy. I don't see them doing anything amazing, but they're a good team though. They're still a good team regardless of what. So I think that Notre Dame, they might have a couple slip-up games on their schedule, and that slip-up game could be against North Carolina State because it's going to be at North Carolina State. North Carolina State ain't like they're the type of team, if you play them at home, they can have a good day. They can have a good day at home every once in a while. And they play Louisville at Louisville. Louisville type of team, they can have a good day at home. You know what I'm saying? If you remember back in the day, if any of y'all remember back in the day when Louisville beat Florida State and upset them at home, it was a while ago in the Bobby Bowden days, but still, it just goes to show, like, every now and then at home, they can have a good day. And last but not least, another slip could be Wake Forest, which is who Sam Hartman played for last year. And not only did he play for Wake Forest, like he is from North Carolina, and he left to go to Notre Dame. So I don't know what Wake Forest is going to do, but the only thing is that game is going to be at Notre Dame. So being that game is going to be at Notre Dame, I don't see Wake Forest having a real good advantage, but they know Sam Hartman, they know him like a book. Maybe they might have something for him. You never know. But I just think that overall though, Notre Dame look pretty good, and this is how they're gonna have to play all year, man. And they got to get physical, man. And I saw some physicality with their running game. Stopping the run, and we don't know what they're gonna be against the pass yet. Obviously, you're not gonna see that against Navy, so we don't know yet. But my thing is that they can stay aggressive, and that's what's going to get them over the top. I think if they play aggressive enough and attack that new quarterback from Ohio State, they could beat Ohio State. And as far as USC, like I said, I don't see them holding that offense down. But if they could just make enough plays, and if they're deep and this USC defense is not as good as everybody thinks it's not, then yeah. Maybe they can beat USC as well. You know what I mean? But Clemson, also, we don't know how good Clemson really going to be this year. They should be good and, better than last year. But, hey, we'll see what happens. But like I said, overall, I like what I saw in Notre Dame. I'm really rooting for Notre Dame to have a good season. It's not anybody on their schedule that I would root against Notre Dame. The only team I probably would root against it's Notre Dame is Tennessee State. Go HBCU. You know what I mean? I hope they play a decent game. And shout out to Notre Dame for inviting Tennessee State to play in that stadium. I don't care what team you love or like. You would love to play, in South Bend, man. It's a historical site, and man, hey, any player will want to play there. So being that they got Tennessee State there, that's great, man. I like that. And I don't even know how many HBCUs have played there, but man, that's not only are they playing in a historic site, you giving them an opportunity to get looked at by NFL scouts. If one of those players from Tennessee State have a good game, you never know what can happen. You know what I'm saying? Because there's eyes on them. So that's good. Shout out to Notre Dame for that. But anyway, man, hey, Notre Dame, hey, just stay physical, man, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't turn the ball over, just like any team should do, right? But still, hey, I like what I saw, and we'll see how the season go.